we have compiled various online topics where Japanese people talk about culture, social issues, etc. This time, we will be discussing why Ghost of Tsushima is loved by Japanese people. Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is set in Japan, received a lot of backlash from Japanese people, and a petition was even started calling for the game to be stopped, while a similar samurai-themed game became a big hit in Japan. Yes, it's Ghost of Tsushima. In stark contrast to Assassin's Creed Shadows, it was met with rave reviews from Japanese people. Why is there such a big difference between this game, which is based on a samurai and was created by the same overseas game creator? This time, we will talk about how Ghost of Tsushima is loved by the Japanese people. What were the creators thinking? Let's take a look at these. First, let's look at the reviews on Amazon's Japanese store.
The realistic action and movements gave me an indescribable sense of immersion, as if I was controlling characters from a period drama myself. The story is based on Tsushima, Japan, but the love and attention to Japan in the game was so strong that it was hard to believe it was made by someone overseas.
The fantastical Tsushima is beautiful. A work full of respect for Japan. Just because the story is fiction doesn't mean the historical research is sloppy.
It seems that the depictions surrounding Bushido are not based on real history, but rather prioritize image in order to appeal to overseas audiences. Kurudo, who uses not only samurai techniques but also hidden weapon techniques to defeat his enemies, perfectly combines the best of Bushido and ninja, which foreigners love, making it an ideal character setting from a commercial perspective.
At first you fight like a samurai, but as you progress through the story the playstyle is freely adjustable. You can fight fair, sneak in the darkness and take down enemies, or use the skills of both. You can choose between fighting like a samurai or a ninja, which means a wide range of combat options, and it's a lot of fun.
Although Tsushima is a battlefield, the depictions of nature are breathtakingly beautiful, including the color of the sky at dusk, the expressions of the clouds that change depending on the weather, the sunlight that warms the world, the ebb and flow of the waves, and the flowers swaying in the breeze. The depiction of tranquil beauty is somewhat reminiscent of the movie The Last Samurai.
The game's creators must have studied the culture of waka poetry diligently. I was surprised and shocked to see such waka poetry appear in a Western-made game.
You can choose between Japanese and English for the audio and text. The localization is perfect and sounds so natural that you'll think, this was originally developed in Japan, wasn't it? The game makes extensive use of Japanese and archaic words, whose nuances are difficult to convey in a direct translation from English. So it appears that the Japanese text was originally created from scratch, separate from the English version.
Although it is a game made overseas, it is not a fashion samurai-type game made with a foreign image in mind. Rather, it feels so Japanese that it's hard to believe it's a Western game, and it unfolds an incredibly sophisticated worldview that is so aged you'll wonder, could they really make it this sophisticated? The localization has also been done with a lot of effort and is fantastic.
Although it seemed like a standard story of the samurai winning overwhelmingly through their Bushido spirit, it actually contained very delicate themes such as the protagonist's inner turmoil and conflict, making it very thought-provoking.
This is a game that should really be made by a Japanese game studio, but it's still great when made by a foreign studio. It's a Japanese work that Japanese game companies should take inspiration from.
This is the ultimate samurai game that even Japanese people have to admit. Can a foreigner really make a samurai game that Japanese people will be satisfied with? Any Japanese person would have this doubt. Even Japanese people find it difficult to make a samurai game that Japanese people will be truly satisfied with. It's obviously impossible for a foreigner to do that. That's what it's normal to think. But Japanese people who actually play the game are astonished.
Even Japanese people who are atheists go to shrines and make prayers with a solemn expression on their face. Whenever the protagonist sees a shrine he cannot help but visit. This is very Japanese. Of course, there are many nitpicky points that make you want to point them out. but Japanese people who have actually played the game will understand how much the people who made this game love samurai, and Japanese culture and nature. You can really feel it.
Although some have complained about the game's strong sense of repeating the same tasks over and over again, the overall reviews have been excellent, with many raving about it. Below are some comments from developers.
My goal from the beginning was to become a samurai in a period drama. Although the story of this work is fiction, the ultimate concept is to make the viewer feel as if they had traveled back to the Kamakura period in a time machine. I paid attention to 3 points: speed, sharpness, and accuracy. Speed is the speed at which you swing a weapon. I have actually tried swinging a Japanese sword, and even though I am an amateur, I was able to swing the sword at incredible speed. I value the sensation I get at that time.
This game is set in Japan, and to make a game like this, you need to acquire a lot of new knowledge. We obtain new knowledge from SIE Japan Studio and from external consultants. The experience of absorbing such new knowledge was very unique and the most interesting part. There were certainly some difficult parts. For example, the religious aspects. I thought I had been watching footage of temples and shrines before, but I hadn't been paying particular attention to them. Also, I didn't really understand the clear difference between temples and shrines. I asked SIE Japan Studio and external consultants about this, and they guided me in the right direction.
Toshihiro Nagoshi, the producer of the Like a Dragon, Yakuza series, also praised the Sucker Punch creators for working on an action game set in Japan with great sensitivity and persistence. I'm doing it. He was also the person who led the team that continued to portray Japanese gang culture for many years.
When asked about the game, Nagoshi immediately said, "We lost." He stated that he believes it was a game that should have been made in Japan in the first place. He praised the Kurosa mode, which not only makes the game black and white but also recreates black and white period films through various adjustments such as adding film grain, saying that it tickles the hearts of Japanese people more than Japanese people. He said that the assumption that Westerners would not understand Japanese works was a mistake.
Ghost of Tsushima has also contributed greatly to the development of the real city of Tsushima. Jason Connell and Nate Fox of Sucker Punch Productions have even been welcomed as permanent ambassadors for the city. Additionally, when Watatsumi Shrine in Tsushima City began a crowdfunding campaign to help repair damage caused by the disaster, they quickly raised 15 million yen, 3 times their goal. When a gaming media outlet called for support for the setting of the famous Ghost of Tsushima that was in trouble, game fans from Japan and around the world flocked to support the cause. As a Japanese person and someone who loves games, I thought that now was the time to remember Ghost of Tsushima, so I posted this video. I'm very happy that people who are not Japanese are creating a game that depicts Japan. I am very happy and proud that a lot of games that respect JRPGs are being made by overseas creators, mainly indie developers, these days. I try to play as many of these games as possible and give positive feedback to their creators. That is why I am deeply saddened by the controversy over Assassin's Creed Shadows. I hope that the days when everyone can happily enjoy Japanese-themed games will return as soon as possible. I hope that Japanese people and Japanese culture will be understood by people all over the world, and that we can all coexist better in this world. Please feel free to post any thoughts or messages you have. The creator is Japanese, but comments will be translated and read, so we would appreciate it if you would post in any language. We appreciate all comments, whether you sympathize or dislike them.